when you were at Barclays, was there like a specific incident happened that triggered you, like, you know what, I can't do this forever? Or was it a book which you read at that moment?
I'll be honest with you, and I've not really talked about this much. So I got to the final stage of Love Island, right?
Oh, wow.
So before they start shooting Love Island, they send some people over to the villa, 5 boys, 5 girls, and they shoot for 3 days as if it was the real thing. And I was chosen to go to South Africa to stay in the villa for the winter Love Island series. And I did that. And doing it exposed me to TV, media, creators, influencers, and I met all these people. While I hated the experience, and I'm glad I didn't do it, I was exposed to this new way of how I could live and things I could be doing. So to be honest, that was my trigger. And as ridiculous as it sounds, I then went back to work and I was like, yeah, this isn't it. I don't want to do this. So that was one thing. Another thing was I started a YouTube channel maybe 6 months prior to that point and didn't really grow it to any sort of size that was worth quitting a job for. But that again made me realize that, maybe I'm quite good at this video creating thing. Maybe I like to be on camera. So it was a combination of those two things that I think pushed me to quit my job at Barclays.
Okay. I don't know if you want to share, but how did you end up being chosen for Love Island? And you went to South Africa, you said, as well, just to shoot as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was after work. It was like a work drinks thing with a friend that worked at Barclays at the time with me. And he was just like, you should apply for that. Like you might do well. And I applied for it and I got through all these rounds of interviews and, like literally like this, you're on camera being filmed by exec producers. And then they're like, okay, maybe we'll see what this guy's like and we'll give him a shot. So flew over and yeah, that was, it was a strange experience to do that.
I've only watched one full season of Love Island.
Yeah.
And I have heard many stories how it's kind of fake as well and kind of the things which are there is so weird as well.
Yeah, it is. So when I was there, there would always be, what do they call it? I think they call it a runner, basically an assistant producer will be in the house with you at all times.
Okay.
So times they'd be like, Phil, come here. Like off camera. I'd go into this little closet and they'd be like, do you like Emma? And I'd be like, no, not really. They'd be like, oh, okay, do you like Sophie? And I'd be like, yeah, she seems quite a nice girl. And then they're like, okay, go speak to Sophie now and we'll tell the camera guys to focus on you. It's very well orchestrated. Yes, people fall in love on Love Island. It will happen. But it's all coordinated. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh, hell nah. Like, this is just not it. The guys that I was there with, I loved and they're great guys. But for me, I didn't like the experience.
Any guys who were there were really well known now?
There was one guy that's pretty well known. There's a couple of girls that are now like big influencers from my time there. It's a great platform. It's a really good platform to go onto Love Island, but it just wasn't for me.
What if you did end up being chosen and you went there? What would your life look like?
Well, it was partly being chosen and partly putting yourself forward to be chosen. So I kind of made it clear that it wasn't something I'd be interested in. If they were kind of like, no, we need you, like you'd be amazing, maybe I would have done. But yeah, my life would be different. I think there's only a handful of people from Love Island that will actually make it big. And then it's only the smart people of that handful that actually go on to do amazing things. Yes. Like, do you know Chris Williamson?
I know Molly-Mae, but not...
Molly-Mae's done extremely well. But there's a guy who was on season 1 of Love Island called Chris, and he's doing a podcast with David Goggins at the moment, and you'll recognize him. He's Modern Wisdom, I think, is his YouTube channel. He's massive, and he's done amazing because he's had the mindset to actually do something with his opportunity. Yeah. Whereas most others, nothing against it, but they'll take any brand deal that comes their way. They'll be like, yes to Boohoo, yes to this teeth whitening, whatever. And it kind of just reduces their brand image to very little, but it can be good.
I get that a lot. And I think if you use it right, like Molly-Mae, an example is, she became a big influencer. I guess also Tommy Fury is another example, but then Tommy Fury had boxing and all of that as well. But now